Hello, good morning, everybody. This video here is over the topic of the big picture. Now, this is something I've been learning during my coursework through Unit 1, 2, and 3. That I'm going to paraphrase it and lump sum it without making too many direct quotations from the source material. Now, I have learned through my own personal experience and struggles that there's three key rules to success: research, application, and implication, meaning that you need to research what you're planning on doing by taking from historical actions, because knowing how it has been done is one way you can figure out how to do it in the present. And then application, to apply what you have researched and what you're willing to do. And finally, the implication, to employ your thoughts and actions into relative context, is something that after you've applied your standards of success, you need to imply them, meaning that you are constantly striving to know how to do it better. And you try to find new ways of doing it. Now, the big picture is a culmination of all of a person's goals and dreams, along with everything that they have done or have yet to do. And many of us struggle with when we hit tough times, we give up, or when situations become too dire. I understand that completely. Because you can come up with a good plan, but you have to be able to stick to it in the tough times. So I do recommend that for anyone watching this, they can draw something from it, hopefully, or they're willing to progress the conversation within the chat. Now, I have thought about these things involving my own life because my house is in terrible need of in how should I word it? Terrible need of repair, at least within my own opinion. Because at the end of the day, it's my house. Struggling to pay the bills due to financial limitations. My goal with pursuing this degree is not for just any personal needs, but more or less to make myself available to further employment opportunities. Because right now, I only have a diploma in undercar specialty, which I would consider that a vocational degree. I have spent a large chunk of my life working on vehicles for people, doing oil changes, tire work, brake work, things of that nature. I have finally hit the point in my life where I've realized that I have limited myself within the job market. So I'm thinking about pursuing other job fields in hopes that I can generate a better income than what I was making. Because I worked for a company for 3 years that there was supposed to be promise of growth, but I was denied growth multiple times. I had an employer who would yell at me over other employees, their mistakes. I would hear the rough end of it. So I became a pillar where I took to verbal abuse. Everybody gets mad, everybody needs to vent. I understand that. But a simple mistake on my end would be inflamed as though I had literally torched someone's vehicle when it was a simple mistake due to a miscalculation, B, a bad tool choice, which does happen. And when I say bad tool choice, I mean having to go out and buy your own tools, and you didn't buy the proper tools, so you had to borrow a tool. Now, I've always been one to return what I have borrowed, period. If it ain't mine, I don't need it. But that company refused to give me any form of advancement. It took everything, including an act of God, to ensure that I would actually get my annual raise or even get a raise to a proper pay because people would be hired in after me that were making more, that had less experience, which to me was unfair. Now, according to federal law, two employees can talk amongst themselves about their pay to determine if they are making fair pay or not. Well, I came with credentials and training, experience within that specific field, yet I was never given an advancement. I was never given the opportunity. I was denied multiple times. So my pursuit of this degree is specifically so I can keep advancing myself. Simple as that. My big picture is to live as though I am dying today. What do I want to achieve before I die? Because it is a human fact. There's only two things unavoidable in this world: death and taxes. So I have put some serious thought into this matter. And my big picture is simply what I want to achieve before it's too late. This degree is so I can improve my employment status because currently I went from being a mechanic to being a cook at a gas station. It's enough to pay the bills, but just barely. And to quote a movie, I'm too hungry because the food on the outside is better than what's on the inside. That's a quote from Too Fast, Too Furious, by the way. I draw a little bit of context from that quote only because I understand what it's like to be extremely poor and have nothing. So I'm a bit hungry. I've had a taste of success, and it was nice being able to eat healthy and being able to eat and feel full without being depressed over it. Whereas nowadays, it's extremely hard to be able to buy anything. I mean, with the rate of inflation that we're at, we're currently approaching all time highs, if we're not already at all time highs. I haven't really checked on that in a minute. But based on that, we have literally we've doomed ourselves if we do not accept growth. So within these lessons, I've learned about the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. A growth mindset is willing to change with the times, whereas a fixed mindset will not. They don't believe that they can do it. I have my moments in a day where I will admit to myself that I feel like I'm not capable of doing it. But I'm only human. But when I look around my achievements, the things that I have done, I know that I can do it. Who knows? Maybe this degree might take me into the financial field. It might take me into the business analytical field. It might take me onto an online job. I don't know. Like I've been doing some research in Amazon dropshipping. It seems viable, but I haven't done enough research to fully comprehend what to do and how to do it. So I've been hesitant on doing that. I'm thinking probably in the next few months I may attempt once I have a better understanding. Because I'm doing my research first before I apply my research to what I am doing. Unfortunately, yeah, it takes money to make money, apparently. And with how much I make, it's going to take me a little bit to save up enough to get the foundations going. But that gives me time to do my research. A big picture is nothing more than an end goal. I've kept mine fluid and flexible because I know day to day things change. Who knows? There may be a new way of employment that occurs because of online social media that may be more viable. But I'm so used to the physical job field that I don't know if I'm even qualified to move on to the digital landscape. Like my YouTube channel covers a wide variety of topics. Mainly it's all shorts for now because I'm here and there on it. I've been attempting to learn how to edit my videos, but unfortunately I can't find software as of yet that I comprehend well enough to make proper video content. But I do know you can go on to Fiverr and you can pay someone else to edit your videos. Again, it takes money to make money. My YouTube channel only has 7 subscribers at the moment, but that's alright. My channel is predominantly to leave lessons behind for my son. So this video here may be a valuable lesson for him later on in life. Even though I may be estranged from him, I want to leave something behind for him, even if it's just a video. Now, with day-to-day struggles, our plans may change and may alter. So we do have to keep our big picture as a broad span picture. Because if you focus on just one goal, you can achieve just that one goal. But ask yourself how many other goals have you had to pass up on? How many opportunities have you overlooked to achieve that one singular goal? We should accept all possibilities when we go after our goals. It's as simple as that. We shouldn't just accept one way or the highway. Because who knows what is in store for the future. Like for instance, I have a adopted sibling that is literally overturned 3 felony charges so he can attend police academy. I am very proud of the man. He has worked hard to prove that he is not a criminal. Mind you, he did catch those charges when he was younger. It only took him about 14 years or so to be able to overturn those charges. He proved himself to be a model citizen. His goal in life, his big picture, is similar to my own, where we leave a legacy behind for the next generation. If we can do it, you can do it better, is how he and I both think. So having a growth style mindset allowed him to overcome what was told he would never be able to overcome. Similar to myself, I'm the first person in my family to not only graduate college, get a license, buy a vehicle from a dealership, and actually pay it off, maintain stable employment, and buy a house. I'm the first person in my bloodline to actually achieve those goals. And those are good goals to have. Unfortunately, with the current market that's out there, it's pretty hard to do that. If you're not willing to accept change, those goals can seem impossible because it's under a fixed mindset. If you are negative with yourself, you will not be able to achieve your goals. Whereas if you take on a more positive attribute of admitting anything is possible, you can achieve those goals. I mean, it's kind of like looking into theoretical physics or quantum dynamics. Anything is possible because if an electron can be both a wave pattern and a particle, all it takes is observation or the lack of observation. It leaves a lot to be desired, doesn't it? At least within the aspect of simple explanation. But what it does do is it proves that anything is possible, whether or not you can see it or if you can't. By admitting this, admitting that you are capable of doing it, and then doing it. There is no object that can stand in your way. If people are negative to you, just remember that when you point one finger, there are three more pointing right back at yourself. So when I say you can't do it, I'm saying that I can't do it 3 times harder. I'm going to quote an instructor from when I was in college at Nashville Auto Diesel. The only person who can stop you is the person sitting on your own rear end. Now, that quote strikes me hard because when it's said, that means that you are the only one who can stop yourself from achieving your goals. You should never stop yourself unless it is something that will endanger you. And unfortunately, in the business world, no risk, no reward. You have to do risk management and assess the positives and negatives of every risk you take within business. Because you have good business deals and you have bad business deals. So you have to bear this in mind. You have to look at all the data and allocate the pros and the cons. Now, simply put, if you don't look at the overall picture of all the goals, dreams, and aspirations, weigh out your pros and cons, but don't be hard on yourself. Be positive, because anything is possible if you put your mind to it. You'll be able to see an outcome that is far better for yourself when you actually apply yourself, even if it's a little bit. I have been known to personally to learn new techniques of doing a job that I've done 10,000 times because I know that one day I will find a way that is impossible to alter in any way, shape, or form to create a error or an issue. I know that's wishful thinking, but I know it's possible because it'd be a technique that would be designed for myself to use. It would be my own personal technique. It may or may not work for you, but by applying yourself just a little bit, by telling yourself you can do it, and accepting a growth style mindset, along with looking at an overall where do you want to be at in the next 10, 20 years? And what do you want to leave behind? It can affect every aspect of your life from employment to your day to day life. Now, I personally am a bit of a pessimist about myself, so I'm very harsh with myself personally. But I do admit that I've done things that people would never believe I could do. And if I can do it, I know you can too. Because there's always people out there to support you. But the main person who supports you is the person standing in your shoes, standing on your 2 feet. So it's like if you believe math is hard, well, apples and oranges. It's a matter of opinion which one is better, right? But at the end of the day, it all tastes good, doesn't it? I don't know about you, but I like both apples and oranges. So math, it can be tricky, it can be hard to wrap your head around, but that's when you go into figuring out new ways of doing it. Like for instance, with multiplication, there's a way that Japanese students can do multiplication at extremely fast rates with simple lines and circles. You can go on YouTube and look up the Japanese multiplication hack. They literally draw lines and count the intersections. And it is amazingly fast. I use it from time to time too. Or you can learn acronyms like My dear Aunt Sally. So you can learn different acronyms to help you figure out, like PNMOS or any any variation that'll help you remember how to do an equation. Math is not that complicated because, well, you can always go buy a Texas Instruments calculator and you can use a calculator to assist you. Nothing has ever stopped a person from double checking. But unfortunately, being a mechanic most of my life, I've had to deal with numbers on an extreme to where, like, once a month you have to calculate how much oil you have in reserve. So you have to know X amount of oil is equal to this. For instance, for every inch of oil in my reservoir, it is equal to 13 gallons of oil or pints, what have you. Each reservoir is a different size. So you should never look at math as a hard issue. But I know some people struggle, but it's a way of life. If you don't embrace the struggle and learn, you deny yourself a growth opportunity. So when you look at your big picture, that big picture is comprised of all your struggles, of all the pain you've had to go through, all the headaches you've had while trying to learn something new, along with your goals, dreams, and aspirations. And the best thing to do is put your best foot forward. Whether you succeed or fail, I believe it's Sun Tzu or some old philosopher that once coined this phrase. And I'll leave you on this thought. In victory, I learn only one way to succeed. But in failure, I learn thousands of ways to succeed. So I'll leave you on that thought. Y'all have a good day. Like, share, and subscribe if you find any use out of this video.